Joey and I think was Eric on it too. We did a piece a while back where we talked about like the current state of metal, basically. And there's a guy who Eli Ennis, I think he actually writes for not Consequence of Sound, but like one of the big like blogs, like music blogs. And he basically wrote this piece about how like the modern like top tier metal bands are like all very pop driven. And the examples he used were like Sleep Token and Spirit Box and Bad Omens.
Yep, Bad Omens.
Yeah. And so that guy, Bradley Hall, Joey, he did a piece about the state of metal. I think he's copying us. No, I'm just kidding. But he covered a lot of the same bands. And actually, he Slaughter to Prevail is in here too. So I figured let's talk a little bit about this, watch some of it, and chat about what he says. Because he has some of his opinions I don't necessarily agree with, but he does have some pretty good takes too. So... he's pretty fun. I love his edits too, by the way. Like the way he does those like kind of like Family Guy cutaways, where it's like this really quick cutaway to something funny, and it's like it's pretty brilliant. Anyway, here, check it out. Let's watch it.
Metal dead. You got people saying it's all just go like breakdowns and nonsense these days, and then you got the other side saying metal's very much alive. There's lots of bands still keeping it, in the public eye. So we're going to be listening what 2024 has offered us so far, all across the board, from like the boomer shit all the way through to the
shit.
Let's check out Kerry King. Okay, we got this one, Toxic. Is this going to be a cover of the Britney Spears song? I hope so. Toxic rhetoric, toxic government, toxic politics, toxic hypocrite. This is just some like real typical cringe movie. Politicians bad, guys. Phone bad, news bad, big corporations bad, politicians bad. Everything except the lyrics is pretty good. Oh.
Have you listened to the Kerry King stuff?
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I mean, I don't really necessarily hit on the lyrics either, but
it's
basically
down Slayer.
Yeah, kind of.
The vocals are sick. Riffs were solid. Pretty sick solo. Performances were good. Yeah, it's all right. The new Electric Callboy Baby Metal song.
Okay, so Electric Callboy is a band that was recommended to me, or what band? I think it was the Almas. When I interviewed them, I was like, "What are you guys listening to?" And someone recommended Electric Callboy.
Can I just say these newer bands have weird fucking names?
They used to be called Eskimo Callboy, and then that got racist. So,
is that true? Or
no,
really?
Yeah.
Oh wow! So you've heard these guys then, Joey?
No, I don't know them. I remember the controversial name thing, and then they changed the name to Electric Callboy. So,
okay, yeah. Well, I'm sure that the Eskimo community is happy about that decision.
They dug the music, though.
I love what they do. I think it's a really fun mix.
So what basically someone told me about Electric Callboy is they're like, it's almost like EDM party metal. It's like fun, like tongue in cheek, and so is baby metal. So I'd imagine I haven't even listened to this track, but
have you heard of Ladrones? They're really, really new. It's like Mexican traditional music with the horns, but mixed with metal. That I'm digging it. I thought I'd be like it.
Did you ever hear back in the day? There was a band called Puya that was a Latino metal band, and they did that. They had like horns, and they would like do funk breakdowns and stuff. Do you know them, Joey?
I've heard a few songs like back in the late '90s.
Yeah, they had some good shit actually. A lot of like Spanish language stuff too, but they worked the horns in. The horns.
Sort of like modern metalcore and sort of like fun Euro dance. Dude, this is everything I hoped this would be. It's really good.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
Dude, it's so catchy. It's so catchy.
I like baby metal.
I enjoyed that a lot.
Do you like? What do you think about baby metal? Either of you?
Go ahead.
All doses, it's good.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone kind of like can agree with metal.
Album,
But I don't know.
What were you saying, Colette?
Well, I feel like a lot of metalheads can kind of agree on it as like a mindless, fun, like But I have a friend who's really, really into J-rock and K-pop and all of that stuff. And if you're in that world, it's actually kind of generic. It sounds like exactly like K-pop or J-pop or J-rock with a metal band behind it.
J-rock is a rapper, actually, so that's
I know J-rock is like, I don't know, Duran Gray and
Duran
Miser
Gray.
and
I know Duran Gray.
Yeah.
Do you know, is Boris part of that?
The Vamps. That's what I can think of.
Boris?
Should I know Boris? I'm like Googling lots of things.
Boris is good.
That was honestly a breath of fresh air.
Boris is like a stoner rock, a Japanese stoner rock.
Oh, yeah, okay.
He said that this song is like a breath of fresh air.
Glad there's bands that sound like this in this modern age of metal, right? You know, as much as I love a lot of bands, so many of them are so fucking serious and like miserable. This is fun. Electric Callboy are fun. Heavy metal are fun. They just want to have a good time. We're gonna move on to everyone's favorite Russian boys, Slaughter to Prevail.
Our boys.
Sort of play a mix of like deathcore and new metal, I suppose.
So listen to his take on them.
These guys take themselves so seriously, like, they're so fucking like unself-aware.
Really?
I don't think so.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Now it's giving me an ad for Third Eye Blind.
Yeah.
You got my target right. If I was gonna go see Third Eye Blind, though, I wouldn't hear that song Jumper. Do you know that song?
I am not a fan, but I
would understand.
Oh God!
Oh yeah.
Is that Third Eye Blind? I thought that was.
I shot them 2 summers ago, I think. They were
did you?
In Minnesota.
I'm really not a huge fan. They were like one of the bands of that era that I kind of hated.
I hate a lot of bands in that.
But they're all right. You're in good company, Colette.
I'm not gonna lie, like this video is really awkward. Something about it.
I don't know. I think if he thinks they're taking themselves too seriously, he's not paying attention. Because those masks are not serious. That guy double bassing into socks is not serious. Like,
yeah, I think he's a little off on this one.
Yeah,
I really like Alex's voice. Fucking insane voice. He's an absolute beast. This music is just like really, really uninteresting to me. It's like really boring. It's like so big and so heavy that it just like stops being heavy. You know what I mean? It's just a miscellaneous wall of sound. You know. All right, so let's go back.
That's his opinion.
I was like, no, I like that they made new metal like what it should have been. That's what I was saying the other day. I was like, dude, Korn and all that stuff could have been this heavy if they had just gone all the way. You know,
it's good deathcore, and it's like honestly the fact that they're on No Jumper is awesome because that means that like No Jumper is like a big hip hop show, and so like if metal bands are starting to pop up on Adam 22's radar, that's I think a huge win. Hopefully, he has Knocked Loose on next.
And look at an older band, Judas Priest, one of the grandfathers of metal. Still sounding fucking good though, isn't they, old Rob? Still got them pipes. They haven't like compromised on their sound at all, have they? You know, it's still like Judas Priest classic heaviness to it, like kind of like, you know, signature speed metal vibe. That's cool. A little sort of like neoclassical progression there. Got some little arpeggios going on in the background. Okay, now let's go back to a newer band, Falling in Reverse. This song seems to have garnered quite a lot of hype. I do respect the fact that his
music. Do either of you like this band?
I don't know any of their stuff.
Okay.
Another controversial guy though, right? Ronnie?
Yeah, I know the singer's like always in beefs, and I love like he has this thing with Sebastian Bach.
Oh yeah, I saw
like
that.
Him and Sebastian, he's like always taking shots. I love it. I'm like, this is hilarious. Like he's always taking shots at Sebastian Bach. Like they're always like smashing at each other. I think it's because like they were fighting about backing tracks. Like is how it all started. And
yeah.
Anyway, let's hear what Brad has to say about
sort of like all over the place, and they're doing their own thing. Dude, that riff spike fucking slaps though. What's with the vocals though? The vocals sound really weird. Like, going on, like, dude, this has like more production value than like the last like fucking Avengers film. Hell. To be honest, I was enjoying it until this. Like, what the fuck is that? I do really respect it, and it was definitely a trip, but it's just so absurd. It's like self-aware in how absurd it is. It must be, right? So, you know, Bruce Dickinson, obviously the singer of Iron Maiden, he had a very, very highly regarded solo career back in the 90s. I think this is his first solo album in a long time. It always sounds like he's got a bit of dust lodge in here. He's trying to like, "No!" He's having a good time. It was alright. It was fun, but still, like, it doesn't sound different enough to Iron Maiden. I would love to see Bruce in something that sounds like way different to Maiden. All right.
Totally agree with that. Like, I like Bruce's solo stuff, but like, he's right. It would be cool to see him do something like way out of the box. That's like not even close to Iron Maiden.
Like sing on Kerry King's album.
That
was
would be
just gonna
amazing.
say that.
Joey, you're a genius, man.
I was just thinking something similar that like maybe him and Kerry King could get together and then do something completely different than Slayer and Iron Maiden.
I think Bruce should do a mariachi record.
Featuring Jelly Roll.
A mariachi record featuring Jelly Roll. I
There
love
you
it.
go.
Bruce Dickinson, the El Mariachi de Bruce.
We know you're watching, Bruce. Here you go.
There you go. We're just handing you these like $1 million ideas.
Pitching you gold here.
$1 million ideas here. Okay, let's get back to it.
Let's go for something a bit heavier now. Nile. They play very fast.
This is
death
one of the
metal.
few
The full title is Chapter for not being
of these
hung up
songs that I've actually listened to multiple times already, and I fucking love it.
I like that.
It's like blisteringly, like insanely heavy. The title is ridiculous and stupid, but the song itself is. I listened to it like when I first popped up on my recommended thing on Spotify. I listened to it like 4 times. I liked it so much.
down on a stake in the underworld and made to eat feces by the 4 apes. This is pretty sick, actually. I dig it. Anyone who's been watching my videos a long time know that I have a certain thing against metal green screen videos.
Yeah,
Like the
like
metal bands
all about
gravitate so much
Egypt.
towards green screen videos.
Yeah, he always makes fun of bands doing like green screen stuff. Like he was making fun of the Suffocation video where they're in front of. But they do have like the same exact aesthetic, right? It's like in a desert and there's like demons and like pyramids or some shit.
yeah, that's
So funny. That was cool. I really dig that. Kind of like really reminds me of like more old school Nile. So,
That song is badass, by the way.
All That Remains. They released a very, very classic metalcore album back in like the mid 2000s.
This guy, the guy from All That Remains, Phil, is on the Tim Pool podcast. Do you know who? Do either of you know who Tim Pool is?
I don't know Tim Pool, but I know All That Remains.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, Tim Pool has like a political kind of like talk show podcast, and I actually I don't agree with like he's a little more right leaning than I am, but he has like a lot of like good guests. Like he has a lot of like a versatile views, like a diversity of views on his show, which I think is cool. Like he'll have a bunch of different like kind of far left people and like kind of like what Bill Maher used to do.
Thousands called Fall of Ideals. I would hazard a guess there's going to be some guitar playing in
But Phil is on Tim Pool's show like regularly.
this song. I'm
He's
very
definitely like a MAGA dude.
curious to see what they've been cooking up with Jason. Hang on a sec. What are those lyrics? He did not just rhyme desire with fire. Okay, he rhymed desire with inspire. That's like a big no-no, unwritten rule in the world of songwriting. You never rhyme desire and fire. Ever.
I love that. I totally agree. Or crying, dying, and lying.
Oh God, yeah.
I don't know, but this mix is horrible. This is a really, really like unlistenable mix. It's stopping me from enjoying it, but it's okay. It just sounds like a classic, run-of-the-mill All That Remains song. It's fine. It's like nothing special. All right, what have we got next? These boys. I feel like they're a band that sort of
Here we
like
go.
appeal to even like the old school metal guys as well. Oh, so heavy. So heavy. I love the mixing on this stuff. It's so good. Yeah, I understand people who don't like the vocals, but I know I kind of like them. They've got there's just something like kind of alluring about them that's quite original.
Oh man, more commercials. See, this is why I always clip the content ahead of the stream, so I don't have to deal with the commercials or like the load speeds or anything
It's
like
all
that.
good.
Have you listened to Knocked Loose, Colette?
I think I have. I just didn't know that's who it was. On like I said, I listened to.
Well, you need to go on iTunes right now and purchase their latest album.
Oh,
It's really good. They have Poppy on this song too.
Dude, that's got to be the world's first reggaeton breakdown.
The world's first reggaeton breakdown too.
Dude, that changer, that is fucking sick. Like that tempo drop. It's like boom, boom, bam, 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 boom. You know what? As far as this type of music goes, I think like this is fucking as good as it gets. Like it's so well done. All right, bring me the
I agree.
horizon. So what I like about Bring Me the Horizon is that they've continued to like always reinvent themselves, right? I'm just glad to hear like fucking nice, catchy melodic choruses in modern metal again, man.
I think he's being sarcastic a little bit.
What's interesting is like they're doing that sort of stuff, but they're also doing like this sort of stuff, with this sort of like emo, like revival, nostalgia sort of stuff, right? It's very catchy, dude. Like they're such
That's
good songwriters.
insane.
Okay, we're gonna.
That's
do
like
something
Panic
a
at the
little bit
Disco,
more
or like you know, what's it called? Red jumpsuit apparatus type stuff.
Well, do you remember that a few weeks ago, Dustin, when I sent you that song of theirs?
Oh, dude, I've heard old Bring Me the Horizon. They're like,
okay,
like hardcore.
It's insane. Like they used to do this deathcore stuff, and now they're whatever this is.
Yeah.
The genre mixing nowadays is like Sleep Talk is a good example where it's just like 3 different genres in one song and it's like 12 minutes long. Like there are no more lines.
also for these guys too, it's kind of like when they were doing the deathcore thing, they probably didn't have the size of the audience that they have now.
True.
So like, can you blame them?
And the thing is, like, I don't want to be the guy that says sell out, you know, because like every band evolves, and obviously if it's a career, you gotta kind of do what people like too. But I don't know, it's so different from their roots.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, we experimented with this album and now we kind of brought it back. It's like way off.
Very pop.
Yeah.
I think these guys are probably leading the charge as far as pop and metal goes.
Ground, a bit more fringe now. One of my favorite artists came out with a new album a few months ago. We're going into the world of more sort of like.
You know him?
Metal-y.
He's from Emperor.
He's from Emperor?
Yeah, he's on this. The lead
Okay.
singer of Emperor.
Is this the guy that does like the Norwegian instrumental?
Yes. Yeah, that's his solo stuff.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, it's like film
stuff
score.
now. Pilgrimage to Oblivion. Let's do that. It's so rare as well these days to hear like really, really genuinely good orchestration in metal as well. I mean, obviously it's not the most like catchy, accessible stuff, but damn, it's so well done. It's fucking evil as fuck. Amazing.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh, did Dark Throne have a new album?
Dark Throne?
Dark
Throne.
They play a sort of like a very raw, kind of like punky style of black metal.
Yes, I know them as well.
Fucking love that raw, lo-fi, like analog kind of sound on everything. Sounds so
Same
good.
with this guy on both of those things.
You know, considering the type of sound that like they're going for, it's actually really well recorded and mixed. Like everything's very clear. So if anyone doesn't know, Jump for a Cowboy was like an OG deathcore band back in the day. They were sort of like fucking massive. That's cool. That's totally not what I was expecting. I thought it was just going to be some like, you know, run-of-the-mill classic, old school deathcore throwback. But it's still cool. I appreciate it. Some amazing guitar work. The vocals are cool, kind of like has a really cool like dark vibe throughout the song. All right, I think maybe the last one we will do, a few people recommended Vended. So just to make sure, I'm pretty sure this is the band of Corey Taylor's son, right? Oh, Corey and Clown's kids. Ah, okay. So I'm curious to see, like, do they sound like Slipknot or do they have their own sound? That's pretty cool. I mean, it already sounds like hella like Slipknot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I was expecting. That's actually uncanny how much he sounds like Corey Taylor. Holy shit.
Kind of like the Bradley thing.
No, it's fine. It's just some like fun, straight up Slipknot worship. I mean, it's like Slipknot, but without the good songwriting, I guess. It's cool. It is what it is, as the kids say. It is what it is. So, in conclusion, is metal dead? Metal is certainly not dead, but I do agree that maybe, this sort of old school traditional sound of metal that, you're maybe used to from like the 80s. I kind of feel that sort of sound is kind of dead, like relegated to the underground now. But it's cool that we have two camps now. We've got like, the traditional stuff and you've got the more contemporary stuff. But what I would like to see, I would say, is I would love to see some younger up and coming bands doing something new with that kind of like older traditional style, right?
Oh,
Okay.
oh, you're on mute, dude.
Sorry, I'm still muted. We can wrap it up there. What do you guys think about that? Any commentary on Job for a Cowboy? Obviously in there. Very big fan of that record. Is there anything that you guys think that didn't make that list that is good, or do you have anything to say about Vended?
Well, for me, I've actually been like toying with the idea of writing like some kind of write up of like the 5 songs I'm obsessed with right now or something like to that effect. And one of them is this song called Antimatter by Silent Planet. And it's cool. It's got like kind of a deathcore meets like industrial kind of a sound to it. And the rest of the album wasn't quite as cool as that one song. No offense to those guys. They seem nice, but they're new. So they have a chance to like keep going. And obviously everyone's tastes are different. So I like industrial metal a lot. So that song's going to appeal to me more. But it wasn't so genre bending like Sleep Token where you forgot what you were listening to halfway through. They had a cohesive sound that I was like, okay, I can throw on this whole album and dig it. And that's still my favorite song on it. But I don't like hate the rest of them, or they're not like way out of left field.
Yeah.
So that's one of the newer ones I've been listening to personally.
I didn't love Sleep Token just because I felt like they were trying to play into the cheesy trap thing a little too much, like the clickety hi-hat like type stuff. But I don't hate them though. They have some really good stuff. Like the album before the most recent one, I liked a lot better than the newest one. But you listen to anything crazy, Joey?
I've been listening to. My kids have been playing a lot of the new POD album because I took them to that show a few weeks ago, and they're just obsessed. So Colette, I got 4 kids and 3 boys that are 13 and under. So they're just when they're into something that's nonstop. But it's kind of cool because even though I'm getting kind of sick of the songs, they're starting to play them on the guitar and drums and stuff downstairs too. So it was like they're actually learning them. It's kind of fun to listen.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Encourage that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Playing action.
Well, and my oldest, Oscar, I think he's not like into Tool or anything like that, but I think he wants a challenge. So he was like trying to figure out a Tool song on guitar today. And it was like, I could recognize it for sure. So
that's how it starts.
Kind of neat. Never know where he's going to go.
You're going to be taking photos of your boys on stage.
Hopefully.
Nice. Yeah. There's a lot of young people that know values, like little, like tiny, because it was all ages. And I do think it's cool that like because of social media and TikTok and all that they can find all this older stuff. Like when we were kids, you had to get a tape off a guy who knew a guy who found it in his basement, and like they can. And I had this whole phase where I was super into 70s rock and like Zeppelin and everything. And I had to like dig it up, and now they can go down those same rabbit holes a lot easier. And then they're wearing the whole outfit and all the stuff. And the 90s kind of look is back to the point where I'm walking around the campus and I'm like tripping, like, what year is it? Oh shit!
Are they wearing Jinkos again? Or
I don't know if I've seen Jinkos, but I've definitely seen the big docks and like the tiny shirts and the tight, like exactly how I used to dress.
I just saw a thing on like Instagram earlier. I think it was World Star. They're like, Drake has big pants. I was like, whoa,
like, oh, no, not the big pants. But aside from the fashion, I think it's cool that they can just get into the whole thing. They can find the fashion and the music and the whole genre, and just like, I am suddenly this one kid who's 14 and I'm super into the 60s, and they could just go and be that kid. And I think that's really cool, and that keeps it alive too. Yeah.
I mean, all that old music, I think, gets more play than a lot of newer music on like the streaming services too. You know, the hits that never die.
Like, wasn't it Guns N' Roses hit 1 billion streams?
Black Sabbath.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's great.
and this is obviously a discussion for another time, but what would be the closest newer band or newer song that's going to be a classic someday?
That's a good question.
Like, what's the cutoff? We'll have to do that because it's like now. I remember the point when like VH1 started playing like Nine Inch Nails' "Head Like a Hole," and I was like, oh shit! Like that was like a new song when I was a teenager, and now it's classic rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I heard like Evanescence at the grocery store. I was like, oh, ouch.
Like you hear songs. I heard like you hear certain songs on the overhead. What did I hear earlier? I was sitting at McDonald's. It was a really bad song, but it was like a song that was a hit like 10 years ago. I was like, holy shit, I'm old.
Right.
Yeah, I'm wondering, like, more recent, just like, you know, a prediction. Like, what are you hearing now that you think
That would be classic in
this
10
could be
years?
classic? No, more than that. Like, that stand
20
the
years.
test of time. Yeah.
Lorna Shore, The Pain Remains, Volume 1 through 4.
Really?
Fantastic. That is a fantastic EP record. I don't know. These guys don't believe in like regular songs that begin and end at normal times anymore. But
but okay, so maybe my question is that the kind of stuff you're going to hear at like a football game warm up? You know what I mean? Like, what's the rock or metal that they're going to blast 20, 30 years?
I think
from
it's
now?
all hip hop or pop now.
You don't think there's going to be any rock that lasts into the future?
Like I asked my daughter the other day, 'cause she's 17. I was like, "What? Like, is there any like rock music that your age group listens to?" And she was telling me how like all her gay friends are getting into Bjork, which I like. She's like she loves Bjork because of me because I love Bjork. But she was like bringing up like bands that were older, like My Chemical Romance and like you know what was the other one? Not Panic at the Disco, but something I used to like, just stuff that I used to play for her when she was a kid, like Lady Gaga and stuff like that, like the early Lady Gaga stuff. But no sign, like there's no new like rock bands that are like an institution, I would say.
Sure. The only thing like I can think of, like we go to Minnesota Wild game, the hockey games here, and they've been blasting like Mammoth. Wolfgang Van Halen.
Wolfgang, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So like some of those, like they got like a catchy riff to them, and I could see something like that maybe going, but like he hasn't like really blown up yet either. So
Yeah. He's big in the rock community because he's Eddie's son. So
right.
That reminds me of like Nita Strauss too. I've been listening.
Right.
There's a few really epics, like the one with David Draymond.
Oh yeah,
on her new album that could be big. I think if the right people were playing it, you know, that I could hear that at a stadium or something. You know?
Yeah.
it's crazy now because we've said this before, but it's like when I was a kid, there was TRL or like Dial MTV or like Top 40 or like Headbangers Ball, and it's like there isn't really anything like that anymore.
That's all I don't know. Everyone watches TikTok. Everyone's in an algorithm, like you said earlier. Like it's all their little world of whatever, and then if something.
But even that, like, how long is that going to last? When's the new thing? Like, I don't know. Are we ever going to have anything classic anymore?
Well, yeah, because like we're not all watching the same thing at the same time. Like Josh and I were just talking about, like when we all watched, like the MTV Music Awards when Guns N' Roses played with Elton John. Like you knew every single person you knew was watching that at that exact moment. Not later. They didn't TiVo it. Like we were all there together, and you just don't have.
We don't have togetherness anymore.
Not really. Not it's even true. In that remote TV sense where it's like, okay, we weren't all together, but we all knew we were watching it.
Right.
Well, everybody, I feel like it's the dynamic is still there though, because now it's just like a social media video. Like, oh, did you see that meme? Like you brought up that meme about the AI thing.
True.
Like I've seen that on my Facebook feed, you know, it's like, but you're right. It's not like an event that everyone kind of like congregates for.
Sort of what I call water cooler moments.
Yeah,
Go to school the next day and was like, "Oh my god, did you see that?" Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that era will ever return. I mean, we do still have it though. It's kind of like
we're the new boomers.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. Back in my day, I've said that so many times lately that I'm like, I swear I would never be that person.
Back in my day,
person. Yeah.
When I was your age.